When did you know as a kid that you wanted to pursue film? What was that moment?
It was a slow journey, but I can tell you for sure there was one moment where I committed to it. So it was at a Burbank establishment called Gitana's.
Another
Another
hookah,
hookah place.
guys.
I don't
Sev
smoke
loves
hookah.
hookah lounges. I know
I'm an
katanas.
Armenian man from Glendale from a certain age. No, I mean I
I
haven't been to
I
a hookah
love
place in
that
so long, but
on Palm
yeah,
Avenue.
exactly. And
Yeah,
there was another right next to
Cafe O,
Cafe O. Exactly. Yeah.
We love Burbank and Glendale,
Big
guys.
time.
Louisa Live.
This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Kashishin Real Estate. Welcome back, guys, to Louisa Live. I'm your host, Louisa Sharamatian, and I'm joined by someone very special today, Sev Ohanian, who is an Academy Award nominated and Golden Globe winning producer and screenwriter and founder of Proximity Media alongside Ryan and Zinzi Coogler. Since launching the company in 2018, Proximity has produced a wide range of event-driven projects across film, television, documentaries, and podcasts. Their most recent film, Sinners, grossed over $369 million worldwide and received a record 16 Academy Award nominations, winning 4. Proximity's debut feature, Judas and the Black Messiah, earned 6 Academy Award nominations and won 2. Sev has produced major projects including Creed 3, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Marvel's Ironheart and Eyes of Wakanda, the National Geographic docuseries Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time. Sev is also known for co-writing Run, Missing, and Searching, and for producing those films alongside his wife, Natalie Kasabian. Searching was made for $880K and grossed over $75 million globally. He received the Sundance Institute Amazon Studios Narrative Producer Award, THR's 35 Under 35, Variety's 40 Under 40, soon Forbes, and was the first inductee into the Armenian Film Hall of Fame. There you go.
Is that the longest bio you've ever had on your show so far?
Yes.
Oh God.
You know what?
You gotta edit it all out.
I love it. Sev, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me. You know, we go way back, you and I.
We do. We have such a nice friendship, so authentic.
Yeah. I love seeing you at events. And this is I'm gonna give you a scoop. I actually think of you often, you and Nuna, because you guys are so effortless when you guys do public speaking.
Oh.
And sometimes before I have any kind of event, honestly, like this one, I often will think of you guys.
Really?
Like how you guys do it so beautifully, and you guys are confident and calm and charming and all those things, and you make it look easy. So thank you for being a source of inspiration for me. I mean that sincerely. I've told Nona this too.
You know what? I love Nona. We work together a lot, and hearing it from you, it's just the best compliment because you as well are so great on stage. As you know, it's not just us. You too.
Thank you very much.
And I feel like it's because we support each other.
Yes.
And it support's so big in our community. Thank you for that. That's so nice of you.
Yeah, no, but speaking of support, I love it. No matter what Armenian event is happening, I can count on seeing you there. Amplifying it, giving it visibility, supporting it. You know, everybody, you take the time not to talk to only the cool people, but you're in there like literally socializing with everybody. So I feel like having you at an event is almost like a stamp of validation to that event. Honestly, I mean this sincerely.
Wow, Sev.
I'm not telling you anything new.
I feel like you're interviewing me.
I'm like, what are you up to this weekend? And she like listed off 4 different Armenian events that you're going to be supporting and amplifying.
AWA.
So,
the gala.
Exactly. Thank you for all you do.
Sev, thank you so much. That makes me emotional because you have to love what you do, and it's a lot of energy, but if you love it, it doesn't show that much. But back to you, because today's about you. I'm very, very happy to have you here. So much is going on in your life with Sinners and everything that has evolved for you over the decades, obviously. The nominations, the wins, all of that. But how are you today? How is life? Tell me that. Take me back.
Today is a good day.
Yeah.
Something really cool happened in my personal life.
Yes.
That trumps all the other awards and fancy galas. Like something really cool happened in my personal life today, and you and I celebrated about it. Moments ago.
Yes, so fun fact: me and Sev and the team here at Horizon took some tequila shots.
We did. I think my first time drinking tequila since college.
No,
it was good. It was great tequila.
Did you like tequila mandala?
Yeah, tequila mandala. Thank you.
You're taking home a bottle, but we wanted to just enjoy this day with you. Yeah. And for me, it's my first time drinking on set, by the way. So you did that.
I mean, and I'm a lightweight. Like that one. Okay, so we're done. But.
I am too. So this talk will be unhinged, and me and Sev have the same birthday,
which is crazy. So we were talking to friends that we were with about us both being born on the same day, which is June
2nd. Yes.
And I asked Louisa, I'm like, what time were you born? Mm-hmm. And you said
11:59 a.m.
So then what did I do?
You FaceTimed your mom and dad.
Yeah, my mom didn't pick up. My dad picked up. And I asked my dad, what time was I born? And he says 6:20 a.m.
Don't ask him that.
I said, Dad, no. And my mom yelled, no, Sevak, you were born 11:59 a.m. So we were born the exact same time.
I love that.
What? That's crazy.
It's a connection.
Isn't that crazy?
Of Geminis.
And also how funny my dad did not know the time.
Well, men don't really know anniversary dates or anything. Or like birthdays.
But yeah, so it makes sense that we're connected, honestly.
We are, and we go way back. I remember when I was, co-producing that documentary years ago, the Armenian one. Of
course.
And we had a Zoom session with the producer.
Yeah.
And I think that was when you just started Proximity Media.
Yeah, I think I was in Atlanta, if I remember correctly. I was in my little apartment there. We were shooting Creed 3.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Creed 3.
Yeah.
I mean, so much to talk about, but my point is you always support. You're so humble. You take the time to, us little people, just to Zoom us. And just this is the tequila right now. But Sev, I mean, so much has been happening in your life. Did you ever think that, being here, a child of immigrants, right? Like your life would evolve to be this right now? Because we'll talk about all the fun stuff, but like, how does it feel for you right now?
I feel good. I think there's a weird thing about our parents. I know yours too. Like sacrificed so much to get us to where we are.
Yeah.
That everything we do in my mind kind of feels small compared to it, and there's almost like the sense of like they dedicated so much to our futures that we owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves to do right by them. So if I'm being honest, I'm so grateful and filled with gratitude and lucky to have had some of the success that we've had recently. But there's also an element to it which feels like, yeah, that's right. You know, this is how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to work hard and kind of make sure the sacrifices our parents did pay off. Does that make any sense at all what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like that's honestly what goes through my head.
Yeah, and I feel like you do such a great job showing that too to your friends and family, even through Instagram, when I see how appreciative you are of your family and your sister and everything that they're celebrating. Like today's a big day, like we said. Your sister,
my sister had a baby today.
Had a baby, and that's
she had a little daughter. I'm gonna go see her like very soon in a few hours.
The first girl.
Daughter of that generation, so it's a really exciting day. Like I said, that matters to me more than everything else.
All the awards and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of cheating because I have Natalie.
Yeah.
Like I get to do all of this really cool stuff with my best friend, wife, and literally the best producing partner I've ever had. So, honestly, it's lonely. I mean, you probably can relate to that. Like doing what you do, where it's like there hasn't really necessarily been a template of other Armenian Americans doing this. So the fact that I feel like I found Natalie and she found me, we get to do it together, and some of the success we've honestly shared 100% to each other. And even like a movie like Sinners, that she's not a producer on it, she was there. She was first of all with me in New Orleans shooting the movie, and then she was watching every edit and giving notes and chiming in on every single part of it. So I owe everything to my wife and to my family for sure.
Okay, question. How do you work with your wife? How does that work? Because you work with her at home, then you go home on these massive projects. Is it annoying? Do you guys fight?
Do we fight? No, honestly, so at Natalie, we're both producers.
Yeah.
And we work often with the same director, a really, really talented guy named Anish Chaganty, as well as some other guys, Will and Nick. And we tend to be on the same side of a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
We might be having a conversation. These are creative debates over like, what should we do with the edit, or who should we cast, or what should happen in the story. Nat and I are extremely like same wavelength when it comes to story, but we have our individual strengths, and there's some things that we just trust each other on.
Yeah.
Nat is incredible at so many things, but especially the edit.
Wow.
You know, I'm sure you know. You made movies. You develop and write it, and then you
Uh-huh.
shoot it, and then you edit it. But that final step is the most important because that's kind of the final movie. We shot a movie called Run with Lionsgate that our third act, for whatever reason, we couldn't film everything we needed to film the right way. And it was inevitable we had to go and reshoot some stuff, and it was going to cost a lot of money.
Wow.
And we were not looking forward to asking the studio for this money. And I remember Natalie was like, "Hey, give me like one night," and she took the editor alone for a few hours while me and the director and the other editor were working somewhere else. And then she's like, "Come in, guys, watch this." We watched what they did, and it was like perfect. Wow. She just knows how to connect things because she grew up here in LA as well. She went to a really great high school called Providence where they had a good media program. So she has decades at this point of experience problem solving when you don't have a lot of resources. So I think all of that means by the time we get home, we've kind of like, we're so tired of talking about film. We just kind of have our lives. You know, we both have our families here and our whole lives are in LA. So it's very rare that we'll even talk about work when we're out.
You're such a great husband. Guys, this is how husbands should speak about their wives. Like, I love that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because women in film, it's such a big deal. You know, a lot of times it's been the glass ceiling and trying to break that barrier.
Yes.
She's a true example. And I'm sure, do you remember the moment where you said, I'm marrying her? Was it at USC?
It was, so we met at USC. So we met at an Armenian Student Association event at USC where it was a career day.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of students who were doing pre-med and a lot of students that were doing pre-law. And Nat and I were basically the only students doing film.
I love that.
That day we met, and she always says that I was kind of like, "What's up, girl?"
Yeah.
But I was chill. We were like trying to get to know each other.
You're funny.
And I remember the truth is, I pitched her a script that I was writing, and halfway through the pitch, she cut me off, which was crazy. I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, and she finished my pitch for me, and I realized again, like, she knows story, and also like that she had the gal to do that. I was really impressed, and we started working together as friends, and then over time we became more romantic, and we had our second dates at Cafe Rouge.
What?
Do you know where that is?
Yes, Studio City.
Yeah, of course.
Hookah and everything.
Exactly. And I remember she was talking about like an internship program of all things she had gone through, and halfway through her talking, I kind of stopped paying attention. I was in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna marry her. The second date. You know, I mean, we've known each other for months, but yeah, no, I'm very. You say I'm a good husband, but I honestly think she's a great wife, great mom, great
power
everything.
couple.
Thank you.
And you guys do so much together, and you guys just, you know, look great together when it comes to pictures and Instagram and fashion, getting dressed together and all of that. And we see it all, and you take it so seriously. Like even I've noticed throughout the months, like the way you guys, you know, pair your outfits together and your style. I mean, tell me about that, because Sev, the way you're rocking outfits right now is next level. Like at the gifting suite when you came a few months ago, for the pre-Golden Globes, you know, you got out of that nice SUV in this dark green forest suit. Yeah. Tell me about that. Like, do you style yourself? Where does that come from?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Like, damn, Sev.
This is the best interview I've ever done, I think. Okay. If it was up to me, I'd be wearing super skinny jeans and the same pair of Adidas I've had since 7th grade. But
7th grade.
I'm very fortunate to be married to Natalie, who annoyingly is not only good at filmmaking and storytelling, she's a really good like fashion person. So around the time of the Sinners promotional tour, I finally went to her and I was like, "Hey babe, like, I'm not going to argue with you anymore." Because it used to be like, her being like, "Hey babe, like, I think you would look good in this or this or that." And I used to be like, no. And I was like, I succumb. I give in.
Good
and so
husband.
So Natalie essentially like styled me for that entire promotional tour.
Wow. So she picked out that outfit.
So that outfit, no. So by the time it came to what they called like the award tour, where we started doing like the Golden Globes, I think that was like right before then, it was too much because it was like every week I had 3 or 4 events that I ended up bringing on a stylist. And I've got this incredible guy named Daniel Sepulveda. He's worked for many, many years, often like assisting other like massive celebrity stylists. And he's kind of been in the recent years doing his own thing. So it was like a perfect meeting of the minds where we basically found each other, and he's like, he often, what's annoying, by the way, is that he would not only text me, he would text me and Nat together, be like, hey, I'm thinking of this or this or that, and then, but together they would gang up on me. And
you have no say, like, you're wearing that, Sev.
100%. But so thank you for all the kind words. It's really them. It's new to me, that whole stylist and tailoring. Oh, by the way, I got to give a shout out. You know who my tailor is?
No.
An Armenian woman.
What?
Aza. Her name is Aza. She also tailors like all the celebrities you can imagine. Like every week you'll see like Selena Gomez or whoever. Like she's incredible. She's an Armenian lady.
Wow.
Amazing woman, and her family does it, and it's so lovely because the way it works is like often I'll meet Daniel like either in my office, she'll stop at my house, he'll have like all these looks for me, and what's weird is like it's gone to a point that like brands will give stuff for free,
collaborate or free,
which is like crazy. Like I'm not, like Michael B. Jordan or whatever, but Aza will also come, and then she's talking to me in Armenian, and we're making her surge, and we're like trying on stuff and tailoring. So it's really I love supporting Armenians whenever I can, and it makes me feel nice knowing I look good because someone like Aza took the care to make sure I did.
And it seems like it's a family business for them. She's been in this for a long time. I should look into her too. Aza. Yeah, Aza, shout out to Aza.
Yeah, big time.
You've been looking great. Even at the Oscars, was it navy? Was it a navy suit with?
It was like a navy.
It was beautiful.
What do you call that material? I should know.
Velour.
Velvet.
I said that in Armenian. Velour. No, velvet. Yeah,
exactly. Velvet. And I had a really cool brooch.
Yes,
So what was really cool is like it was like Daniel was able to secure like all these commitments from like like I can't remember the brands, like Chanel, whatever, like these fancy jewelry brands who wanted to do something, and I was like, no man, I think for the Oscars it's got to be Armenian. So
what a moment.
Corey like came in, and they had this amazing pitch of this massive like hundreds of diamonds in there, which was cool because it represented to me like the journey that I started my entire career with the Armenian community by my side. So I love the idea of representing that on there. It was really sweet.
And the community who supports both of us, if you see how much involved they are with our life, right? Like, do you see that? Like, whatever you do, you have your nice beehive of like, Sev, oh my God, what can we do? Like, isn't that loving and amazing? It's crazy, right?
It is. And like, growing up as an Armenian American immigrant, like I used to think it would be harder to enter the film industry, and kind of what you're doing, like there isn't like a template for that. I've learned that the fact that we are Armenian American, part of this diaspora community, it's actually a massive strength that we have that. There's a community that wants us to succeed, because when you succeed, everyone succeeds. And so often the way we even do this, like look at what you've already built over here in just a few weeks, like it's always on the back of everyone else, and I think that's so meaningful to me.
Yeah, well, there's no roadmap in this industry. It's not overnight. It's like this, and people don't sometimes see the struggles, right? And when you have a community like this who always holds your hand, and we look at the positive, every community has ups and downs, but we should be so grateful. And you were also recently, like speaking of Armenian community, you were also part of the Armenian hold on, let me remember, the film Hall of Fame, correct? What was that about? Tell me that.
So that's our good friend Armen and Mary
Yes.
the founders of Armenian Film Society. They hosted this incredible first ever Armenian Film Society gala.
Yeah, at Vertigo in
Glendale. And they awarded myself, Madi Sharafian, who directed Elio for Pixar.
That's right.
And the amazing, legendary Gaden Karaglanian, who's obviously one of the actors in Aurora.
Oh my God, Aurora,
And that night they inducted me into the Armenian Film Hall of Fame, which is so cool. Like that's
insane.
Amazing. And like it's almost a shame, because like Armenians have been doing valid, important work in the film industry for over 100 years. So like I don't want to pretend I'm nearly the first to do any of this stuff, but it's really special that Armen and Mary like created a community that can actually give visibility to that. And then that same night, I don't know if you saw that Mayor Ara Najarian showed up. Like,
I know, gave you the keys to Glendale City. Oh my God. Talk about that. That's crazy. You're running the town.
I still haven't processed that, but you know what's funny? Like I'm known for this in my non-Armenian community of how hard I represent Glendale.
Yeah.
Like people like we'll be in a meeting, like we'll be literally in London, and like we're talking to like some big person, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, Steph's from LA," and I'd be like, "I'm sorry." Not LA. I'm from Glendale.
Yes.
And let me tell you all about GDL, and I'll bring up all the things. And so it was really meaningful to me. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, you work with the city of Glendale often, right? So you know how that stuff
yes,
works. Like,
I am the chair for the Glendale Sister City Committee, and I represent Kentron District in Armenia, where
that's awesome.
we make sure the relationships with Glendale is always ongoing, and I'm honored. I'm a Glendale girl, born and raised. Shout out to the city of Glendale. Glendale's home.
Also, we're so lucky that it's home. It's the best city in the world. Like I just love our city.
What do you love about Glendale?
I love the safety I feel in that city, like the fact that it feels like there's a real community there, and the crime. It also feels like genuinely affluent. Like people all over the county come to the Americana and that mall, and it's really lucky. I mean, it's funny. My one of my good friends and partners is Ryan Coogler, who of course is not Armenian, but he's such a high Naseri, so he loves Armenians, and he. Sometimes like we'll talk about our respective communities. He's an African American black man in America, and I'll be like, oh man, it's so great that you guys have so much representation in these places, and just like population wise, and he'll be like, are you kidding me? Like Armenians, you have your own city. He's like, that's amazing. Yeah. So I feel like even oh my God, this is a really funny story. When I was producing Ryan's first movie, Fruitvale Station, I was co-producing that movie. One day we needed to get a cashier's check signed immediately, because there was like a whole situation, and I had to run. We were in San Francisco, Chinatown. I ran to a bank, and I needed the cashier to like very quickly do something for me that he was like, this will take 3 days. I'm like, I need today. And I remember he was a Chinese American who was, they serve a Chinese community there, and he was kind of going slow, and I was like, sir. I showed him my ID, and he sees my ID, and he goes, Glendale? Rafi's place, very good.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yeah, Rafi's place. And he like, just because he like loved Rafi's place and a Chinese man in San Francisco, he like hooked me up immediately. So Glendale's always had my back, and I'll always have its back.
Glendale's a feeling. Glendale is a feeling. I think when people drive down the streets on Colorado or whatnot, it's how it makes you feel. And there is a favorite spot of yours in Glendale, which I know, Mario's.
Yo, shout out to Mario. Have we told you? I haven't told you about this.
You told me that a few months ago. I think I posted something. You're like, man, I love Mario's.
I love Mario's.
Shout out to Mario's.
It's like this incredible like convenience store that has a deli,
everything,
like, and it makes the most incredible sandwiches. I remember
beef tongue.
Yeah. My wife and I, Natalie, when we were living in West Hollywood, we would still drive all the way to Mario's and get like the turkey club sandwich. I always take the middle bread out. It's like too much bread.
It is. It's a lot of bread, but it's so a staple.
Good. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so busy. Man, Sev, so much life and experiences of what you're going through with your wife, with your family, and just the industry.
Louisa Live.
This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Kashishin Real Estate. General sponsors, Lions Partners Insurance and LA FUE Hair Clinic. Our supporters,
Louisa Live.
award season, Oscars and all of that. Tell me about the Oscars and just talk about all the great like celebrities you've met. Anyone that really like sticks out to you? Like, damn, I just met this person.
Okay, there's one celebrity I've never talked about this, but since you're asking, and I think it's relevant to what we're talking about, Kim Kardashian.
No way. Tell me.
I had it open one day, and I kept seeing notifications saying Kim Kardashian liked your photo. And I was like, okay, for sure this is a scam. Like, there's no way it's the actual Kim. And then I clicked, and it was her. And she then sent me a message. She literally...
So Kim Kardashian DM'd you?
Literally. And, like, it was, like, the sweetest message. It was like, hey, I can't remember what it was, but something like, it makes me so proud to see Armenians doing well. Like, congratulations. It was, like, this sweet, really message. And I just responded saying something like, thank you for what you've done. And you put Armenians on the map, like, because she really goes out of her way so often to like really show recognition and support. And it was just like this like really like sweet back and forth about supporting each other. And then on Oscar night, Natalie and I ended our night at the Jay-Z and Beyonce Gold Party.
Wow.
And it was like so cool. Like they invite a lot of the nominees and winners, and we were there with a lot of our proximity family. And then Nat literally was like, "Yo, was that Kim?" It was so cool to see like a familiar Armenian face, and we went and said hi, and it was complete like a love fest, and she was so sweet and so congratulatory to me and Nat, and it was really sweet.
Did she talk about sinners?
She did, yeah. It was really sweet. We got a chance to meet her mom too.
Momager, really... how was that?
It was sweet.
How was Chris?
She was cool. Yeah? She was really cool. Yeah, it was just really cool. Honestly, like it's I can't wait for there to be even more Armenians in front of the camera, behind the camera. But it was nice to have that one shared moment with someone who's so visible in our community and the worldwide community.
She definitely has put us on the map. She's so supportive of Armenians. Even her trip to Armenia a few times, we got the world talking about us, and the way that she talks about the Armenian genocide. And you know what I love about Kim and the whole family? She makes it a habit to post every year. The 110th anniversary genocide was a few weeks ago, and she posted again. It's beautiful. I love it. And I'm sure being in that room, partying with Beyonce and Jay-Z and Kim, tell me, like, what's like little Sev Ohanian thinking about that back in the day? Like, you're partying with them. How was the vibe? How was Beyonce? Oh my God, I love her.
It was so
Look
cool.
at me fangirling.
No, I mean, you should have seen us. And and Natalie like loves Beyonce. What woman doesn't?
And Jay-Z and everyone, period. Yeah.
And I think I remember like we bumped into the Beyonce. It was like a fairly small party too. Like
VIP exclusive.
Like it's a whole thing where like they take you kind of like you're like it says like last chance to take photos before you enter. And she was so sweet, Beyonce. Like so kind, so supportive. Like
wow.
It was surreal. It was a really lovely night. It was the latest night I've ever been out since like 15 years. So we don't party that hard anymore.
Reminds you of your college days, right?
Exactly.
I feel like a collaboration might happen with you and Kim and maybe a movie. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Right? And you should cast her in something. She's a great actress.
100%. Trust me, for sure.
Get a momager on board.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Sev, like you're sharing so many cool things. I love that. Do you ever feel a responsibility to talk to the youth more, whether it's the Armenian younger generation? Like I know you recently did a TED Talk, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that. Like how was that for you?
Oh my God, big time. And I think when I was coming up, I really yearned for like an Armenian who I could look up to, who was doing this kind of stuff and just kind of get guidance from them. Again, the sad thing is that they existed. I just didn't know about them. But thankfully, the work that you're doing and so many of us are doing now to like give visibility is going to change that. So especially earlier on in my career, I would always take time to get on a Zoom
like with me.
Exactly, and like share like, hey, this is what you should do. Here's what you shouldn't do. Here's what I wish someone told me. And it's harder and harder to do more of it now. But Natalie and I, we have our scholarship endowment. I think you know about this, where we support any Armenians who are in Armenia who want to study filmmaking in Armenia. We'll cover 4 years of their tuition in Armenia, which is like really lovely that we can do that. And some of that was because at the time I was teaching at TUMO in the summer, and I was so blown away by how talented those kids were, and they were all asking me for advice on how to come to America. And I was giving them advice, like, hey, do this to get into USC and yada yada. And one of the founders of TUMO asked me politely, like, please don't do that. Like, keep the talent in Armenia. So that scholarship is one way we can do that. And there's always a couple of Armenians who, if I have the time, I'll read their stuff and give them advice. And I think it's so important, honestly. Like I believe in my heart that Armenian Americans are especially equipped to do well in the film industry because two reasons. One, I do think we come from a people of storytellers. Like I think it's in our DNA. It's the Armenian like blood at this point. Like we have such an incredible story as a people, and I think that translates generationally to what we want to put out there. And then secondly, a lot of us, especially as Armenian Americans, we come from families of the immigrant hustle, like people who've come here with almost nothing and have built entire businesses and industries and careers. That translates really well into filmmaking. And I think people have always recognized that, not just in me, but even Natalie, like you guys work your butts off, and in our minds it's like we have to, like our parents put so much on the line for us not to.
It's in our blood, that hustle. I think that's why we could be successful and just keep going with the grind every day. Some people might not understand like the drive that we have because we're Armenian, and I feel like that's so important. And when we see the YAN, the IAN, we always talk about this, even during lunch when we see the credits, we get goosebumps. Like, oh my, Sev Ohanian, oh my god. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's so beautiful to preserve that. And you talk so highly of Tumo. I know Tumo is such a great asset to Armenia, and there's also a center here right now. In Los Angeles, and we're just so, I think, bright as a race. We really are. Not to, like, you know, be all conceited or whatever, but do you ever feel like when you were growing up, you wish you had something like AFS back in the day, like because you work closely with AFS right now? So
yeah, for sure. I'm very grateful to Armin and Mary, not just for what they've done for me, but for all Armenians. Yeah, of course I wish for that. I think I was very active in Homenem and Ararat. So I was a scout for 10 years, spent a couple years as like what they call an Anhat, growing up as a kid, and then I became a leader. And some of the leadership skills I think I use every day as a filmmaker and as a producer directly relate to, you know, being a scout leader. So that Armenian community is so important to me. And Natalie and I are so excited because our son just got to an Armenian school. He's 3 now, so we're very excited to be integrated into that kind of community. But yeah, of course, you know, I mean, I think it's crazy. We were talking about this earlier. Like, we've now almost become the adults. Like, I guess we are now. Where it's up to us to continue to further the legacy of our people and to be good representatives to the wider world, and to also be good, you know, shepherds to the younger generation. Like, that's literally what you're doing.
I feel like I want to ask you how your day-to-day is. Like, that's very curious to me, and I'm sure some of the viewers. Like, when Sev wakes up, like, take us through a day, but also take us through a day when you're touring with the movie and that chaos and all of that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I could talk about the movie specifically because it's a whole machine. And, you know, we're really lucky because at my company, Proximity Media, that I have with Ryan and Zinzi Coogler, we recently brought on last year a woman named Tara Potts, who was a marketing titan, like way before we brought her on, worked at Warner Brothers for many, many years. And she came on to kind of be initially a consultant for us. And now she's a full-time chief marketing and operations officer. She is an incredible human being, an incredible leader in her own right, but she basically, like, ensured that we had the right plan and they were using us the right way. But essentially we got, you know, publicists put together like this schedule that's like a really robust schedule every day where you're going to be, and then usually based on that schedule you have to kind of have like appointments for fittings and like tailoring and grooming and all those things. But essentially, like, you know, you get picked up and you go to this particular place, and if it's a gala, you get to enjoy yourself. Sometimes it's a speaking engagement, sometimes it's an interview, and it's always in service of the movie. Like, you know, like, and especially as a producer, like, it's so often like we're not there to be the center of attention. We're there to really provide support. And it's awesome and it's exciting. And sometimes people call it grueling. You know, it's like, I can't wait for this to be done. But for me, like, man, like, I grew up as an immigrant kid watching VHSs from Blockbuster. Like, the fact that in our case, we had made a movie that had been out a whole year before that folks still want to talk about and engage with, it was all beautiful. I mean, it's hard doing that while trying to still make new movies and while trying to raise your kid and be a good husband, but it's still all wonderful. And a regular day, you know, like, by the time I get to my office, like, you know, every second is accounted for in the schedule. Like, who am I going to call on the drive? What am I trying to read in between meetings? What are the 50 emails I got to respond to? And then, you know, it'll be like a series of Zooms or in-person meetings, whether it's like meeting with my nonfiction team at my company, like what's going on with our various projects on the slate, where can I be helpful, what answers you need from me, calls or meetings with representatives who are bringing us other projects, you know, taking an hour break to have a coffee with an actor or a director or a writer, and then, you know, hopping into an edit session, or then getting onto a Zoom and receiving notes on a project or giving notes on a project. So it's kind of like it's all jam-packed in there, and more calls while I'm driving home. And then usually, like, after I help, you know, with bedtime at home, you know, a couple hours where, you know, if we're not chilling, we might be reading more scripts or writing more notes or stuff like that. So it's like every day's really fun and jam-packed. I don't know if that sounded fun.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I feel like it's good for people to know that it's not about the glitz and the glam sometimes, and just getting the award, because we've talked about that. There's so much hours and energy that goes behind that. And I think you growing up watching movies, like, you knew that you were going to get into that because you loved it so much. When did you know as a kid that you wanted to pursue film? What was that moment?
It was a slow journey, but I can tell you for sure there was one moment where I committed to it. So it was at a Burbank establishment called Gitana's.
Another hookah
place.
Guys, Sev loves hookah lounges. I know Gitana's.
I'm an Armenian man from Glendale from a certain age. No, I mean, I haven't been to a hookah place in so long. But
on Palm Avenue,
exactly.
Yeah.
And there was another right
Cafe
next to
Cafe O.
Exactly. Yeah.
We love Burbank and Glendale, guys.
Big time. So then I remember it was right around the time an Armenian movie, My Big Fat Armenian Family, I would just released it. Yes. And if you remember, this movie did really well, and it was a financial success, but it was more than that. Like, Armenians showed up. They clapped, they laughed, they cried. Like, it empowered me to want to pursue it for real. I was there with, like, my closest friends and my cousin Ara Matthewson, who's literally like my big brother. And we were all hanging out there, and I think we were all just hanging out. I said, guys, I think I want to maybe make this my career. So I was maybe 20 years old at the time, and then, but I said, but I'm scared, I'm nervous. Like, what if I fail? Like, I can also take this maybe safer, stabler path. And I remember Ara was the one who really looked at me, and he said very clearly, he's like, do it, don't be a wussy. Although he didn't say wussy, he said a different word.
He said something else that rhymes with wussy.
Exactly. And I remember, like, I was like, oh, like, his faith in me was really instrumental. And I think from that moment on, I stopped kind of playing it safe, because up until then I was always like, well, let me study this class, let me get this major, let me get this minor. Like, I was like, I'm gonna go all in for sure.
You took the unconventional route. And I remember being at the screening of it was the AFS screening of My Big Fat,
the 15th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah.
My first time watching it, and I realized that you really wanted to showcase the power of mental health.
Yeah.
For Armenian just families. What made you do that? Because it's such a necessity even now. Like, how did you know so young?
Thank you for saying that, because at the time, so, like, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, My Big Fat Armenian Family is based on these little short videos I made that I put on YouTube, all of which are like, think of a TikTok video today. It's an Armenian family that my friends pretending to be an Armenian dad or a mom, yelling at their kids, yada yada. And the movie's storyline, My Big Fat Armenian Family, is about a old-fashioned Armenian parents, played by the same guy, and their Americanized progressive teenagers, as a culture clash occurs over a weekend road trip to Palm Spring. And without realizing it, like, because you just talk about psychology and stuff, like, it is literally a movie about generational trauma. And I didn't even know what that word was when I wrote that thing, because I wrote that when I was 19, like 2007. I did not know what generational trauma was, but that's what that movie is. Like, why our parents and that generation acts a certain way, and how that is at direct odds with your and my generation. And again, like, how does that come to a boil over a single charged weekend? So I was trying to make a really funny movie, but I kind of knew I needed to have something more than the fun. Like, it had to have some kind of deeper message. And it was really just exploring, like, the unique hybrid identity of being an Armenian American, and how do you relate to your parents. And there's a storyline where someone's relative comes from Armenia, or from, in that case, Iran. Have you ever had a cousin come from the country?
Of course.
In my example, like, there was a cousin who came, and the older relatives were like, Esamart, Estegan. Like, I was always, we're all being compared to him. Like, oh, that's a good, you know, like, dutiful son. And we were like,
exactly.
So, like, it was like exploring that feeling. And then in the daughter's example, who my sister played, like, let's be honest, like, our culture traditionally has a very patriarchal bend to it, right? Hopefully less and less now, but it was certainly a thing where, like, growing up, guys can do whatever they want, but the daughters are being held to, like, really, really high standards of, like, where are you going, what are you doing, who are you with, like. So it's kind of exploring that in the context of being raised in a country where that's not the case. So I was a complete, you know, silly kid trying to make a funny movie where my friend's wearing fake boobs and wearing a wig, but somewhere in there was something about generational trauma, for sure.
Well, that film was therapy for everyone in the audience.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very relatable to a lot of families, how we are brought up. And I think there comes a certain age when you wake up, you said, oh my God, like, this is why my parents are like that. But also, they have no choice, because that's all they knew. Imagine they come here as immigrants, they work so hard, and then we are educated here, right? So the clash is just so insane. But now, when you make movies like that, people can relate to it. It's so beautiful, Sev. Like, part two, anything?
Believe it or not, there's maybe going to be a part 2. Yeah.
I just asked that. No way, really?
Up,
what?
Yeah. So there was a really cool student young kid, I should say, named Ryan and Zinzi Coogler.
Oh yeah, I tagged him. I tagged him.
And something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was releasing my Big Family, which again was 2008, which was like yikes, 18 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
He was like a young kid who like loved it, and he was always coming to buy more tickets, and he came to the movie with his whole family. And then eventually, like, he would ask me advice, I think, like, on Facebook at the time. And eventually, I started teaching at USC as an adjunct. One day, Ryan walked into my class. He's like, hey, man, I got into USC. I'm in your class. Wow. And for a moment, I was kind of, like, nervous about it. Because I was like, oh, no, what if he's a bad student?
Yeah.
Am I going to be in... He was great. He was such a good student. Amazing. And then when the COVID lockdown happened, Ryan, for fun, started recording videos of himself, kind of, like, pretending to be an Armenian dad, Armenian mom, and... They were so funny. Like he's so talented, and he started working with a lot of our friends like Lori and those guys and Helen and everybody. And I just was like, man, like was such a fan of the original movie. I literally was his professor. Now he's making his own really great Armenian content. So I kind of said to him, man, like if you take it upon yourself to write an entire movie based on your characters, we can call it My Big Family 2 or something like that, and I will finance it and I will make it with you. And I can tell you. He's been working on it. I've read a new draft recently. It's really promising.
Wow.
And I can announce the title here if that's interesting for you.
Absolutely.
This is entirely Ryan's idea. The original was called My Big Fat Armenian Family. Ryan is going to name the second one Our Big Fat Armenian Family. How cute is that?
Goosebumps. Oh my God. I love that. Our.
So if it all comes together, and I really have a lot of faith that we'll be reaching out to you because we're going to need some good actors and characters, and we want to populate it with all the like really cool Armenians we all work with all the time. Cast
me in any way, Sev. Whatever you want me in, I'm there.
We got you for sure.
Louisa Live.
This season of Louisa Live is made possible by our exclusive presenting sponsor, Gary Keshishin Real Estate. General sponsors, Lions Partners Insurance and LA FUE Hair Clinic. Our supporters.
Louisa Live.
That's what I love about you. You always try to support people. You see their strengths and you pair it with what they can do. But you also know how to say no, which is so very powerful. How do you work on that? Because I'm sure you get tons of, scripts your way. Like when you're reading something, right? What stands out to you where you're like, okay, this belongs on the big screen?
It's hard because, especially nowadays, it's really hard to like choose something really good. But my formula is I look for 4 things. A script's got to have it's got to be propulsive, I should say.
What does that mean?
It means it's got to have narrative momentum.
Okay.
So like every scene has to directly lead to the next scene.
Don't drag on.
It should be the formula that I use is like every scene has got to be like this happens, therefore this happens, but then this happens, but then this happens, therefore this happens. Versus this happens and then this happens and then this happens and then this happens. That's what you don't want. And I think a lot of like first time writers, emerging screenwriters, they kind of tend to live in that space. So like really pushing yourselves out of that and think about narrative momentum. It doesn't mean it has to have like car chases and shootouts. It got to be a drama, but there's a way to do it in a way that feels like you're racing through a story. Secondly, it's got to be unique. I think it's so important today that stories have a weirdness to them or originality or freshness, something you haven't quite seen before, because audiences have so much access now to hundreds of movies over Netflix and Amazon and all these things, so you got to be weird. Third, genre blending. I have a theory that audiences respond to things that are multiple genres combined. So like Sinners is a horror movie, but it's also kind of a crime saga, and it's also kind of a musical. Like I think that makes it audiences want to go see things more. And then lastly, it's got to be surprising. Like I don't want to guess the ending 20, 30 pages in, which very often you kind of can. Like where can you take it in a surprising yet satisfying space? So propulsive, unique, genre blending and surprising. That's my formula.
Okay, Mr. USC graduate. We just got Film School 101. If anyone listening that wants to pitch Sev something, now you know.
Big time.
Wow, Sev. And this is why you're Sev Ohanian. No, seriously. You're amazing.
That's so kind of you to say. Thank you.
But, you know, speaking of school and what you just mentioned and USC, what makes USC so top tier? And what did you take from USC that you still apply today?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think oftentimes the number one film school in America, like at least whoever is voting on these things, but it's not necessarily the classes or the professors, although they were amazing. There's some professors from USC that I still talk to this day. Like I lean on, like John Watson, Brendan Goodman, Tim Marks. These are phenomenal, like people who were there for me at the time. It was really the fellow classmates, and I went to USC and I made 3 connections that have changed my life, and none of them, by the way, happen to be people who are rich or from Hollywood connected families, although you'll find plenty of those people, of course, at USC too. It was Ryan Coogler, who I helped produce his first movie, Fruitvale, and we've since become good friends and business partners of proximity. And then there's Anish Chaganty, who's an incredible screenwriter and director. We wrote Searching together and Run together and a bunch of movies together, and he's directed all these movies, and we have all these projects coming up together, and he's Indian American. And then it was Nalik Sabian, who we talked about, who is this incredible Armenian filmmaker, producer herself. I don't know if I would have met any of those people if I had not met them at film school. So
wow.
What they say is like you're kind of paying to like network is so true, but I didn't necessarily meet them in like party circumstances. It was like, hey, here's the work I'm doing, here's the work you're doing. We kind of see each other and we resonated. So I'll always appreciate USC for being a place where you could find ideally like-minded people, even if they have different backgrounds, but you guys can build together.
And I think one of the biggest things about this industry, as you know, is relationships. It's watering those relationships, maintaining it. Also, my good friend Matthew always says it's not sometimes who you know, but who knows you, where you could be so great on set and be such a pro and such a great sport that people end up working with you again.
Yeah.
You've probably experienced all types of people on set, especially with Sinners, right? Which I kind of want to talk about because Sinners is this global, gigantic success story. And when I watched it first, I don't really do movies like that. I'll be very honest. I was with my cousin, AMC Burbank. Shout out to Marina.
Wait, AMC 16?
Yeah, AMC 16.
Love that theater. That's really quickly America's #1 highest grossing movie theater.
Really? I
no
didn't
one knows
know
that.
What?
The theater that makes the most money in any theater in any city in America is AMC 16.
In Glendale, well, Burbank.
In Burbank, yeah, I know.
Next to Katana's and Cafe O.
Yes.
Oh wait.
So you were with your cousin. You guys saw it.
We
Thank
saw
you for
it.
seeing it in theaters, by the way.
She told me about it. She was like, "Well, I knew about it, but I was so busy." She was like, "I got us tickets. Let's go." So we went to Pinkberry, and then we snuck it upstairs at Burbank AMC. Man, Sev, 10 minutes in, I said, "This is so good." Like I was scared, but the soundtrack grabbed me. The storyline, I just wanted to know more about what's going on in this dark world.
Yeah.
It was very scary. I'm not gonna lie.
I get it, man. My mom has still not seen the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She's been at multiple premieres with me, like in London, Mexico. She'll kind of cover her eyes, but I get it. And I gotta say, all the credit goes to Ryan. I mean, that is his story. It's inspired by his own family, and he's one of the best directors, period, in my opinion, like of all time. And when he sent the script to me, like, way before anyone else, so I think it was Zinzi and then me, my immediate connection to it was like Armenians. Because at the end, Michael B's character says, for a few hours we were free. And it made me really think about like our people, like just like the Black Americans in the 1930s in Sinners, like Armenians historically have been a subjugated people who face endless oppression and hardships in all sorts of ways. And what does that turn us into? And I think it turned us into people who like love kef. Like, we love life. We love partying and eating and drinking and dancing. And in Ryan's script, the idea that these people are going to party and have the best night of their lives, not in spite of their hardship, but because of their hardship. I called Ryan. I was like, hey, man, that's how I see this movie. Like, that's the theme of it to me. And he was like, bro, yes. And he asked me, he's like, do me a favor as we work on this movie for the next 2-3 years, put that into the movie. Because that's the kind of filmmaker he is. He really invites his collaborators, his producers, his actors, his department heads, put yourselves and give ownership into this project. So that was like my North Star when I'd be giving notes on the script or on set or in the edit. Like, how do I get that out of it? And I hope that came across a little bit.
We did see that. Like, even the fact that as Armenians, you know, they tried to delete us from this world, right, and not exist with the genocide. So I saw a lot of that energy in that film, and now that you explain it, now I understand more the celebrations and the partying, and you know, for a few minutes we were free. Oh my gosh, Sev, I have goosebumps.
Me too.
Oh my god, and it was
just gave me goosebumps. Yeah.
It was bloody and graphic, and just the love story, and Michael B. Jordan and his body double.
So good.
Which I met at the DPA gifting suite. Oh my God, remind me his name. But
Percy. No
yeah,
way.
Percy.
That's awesome.
I also met the writer. No, the writer was the producer. One of the writers of Sinners was there as well.
I think Ryan's the only writer of Sinners. I'm wondering
hold on.
Who else that might have been.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna open my phone because I'm just one of those.
I'm so curious now.
Yeah. I met that you couldn't make it that day. It was the pre-Oscars gifting suite. You came to the pre-Golden Globe ones, but I posted him. We had a few people from there. Oh, there it is. Hold on, guys. Okay, Michael P.
Michael Schauber.
Yeah, editor.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's our picture. You liked it.
Yeah. No, Michael's amazing. We've been working with him since film school.
Yeah. Really? See, another USC.
Yeah, exactly.
Connection. Also, I met the Ken Diaz, the makeup artist.
Yeah. Oscar nominated, both of them. Yeah.
So I went up to him. I said, the makeup that you did, it worked because I couldn't watch the screen. You know, Sev, so many amazing moments in your life. Winning the Golden Globe Awards and being on stage and just saying a few words. Tell me about that. And you're sitting down and they call your name.
Crazy. Like, literally crazy. I was not expecting any of that. And what's funny is, like, when we won that, we were like all kind of frozen, and then Natalie, who was obviously there with me, she's like, "Get up, go!" Like, she was like everyone go! Like, it was so funny. And when we went up on the stage, and like it was like Kevin Hart, I think. I was like, "What's up, Kevin?" He handed me the Golden Globe, and we talked about like who would talk in what order or whatever. And I got up there, and I'm like, "Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio's like looking at me." Like, it's weird, you know, like nuts. Like, it's like this entire room was just looking at us, and you know, we said a couple words. It was so happy because we won an award kind of like dedicated to like the theatrical performance. So I thought it was only fair to say that I proposed to my wife in a movie theater. And it was so funny because they cut to Natalie, if you remember this in the broadcast, and she's like holding her phone kind of like a mom, like
I love it.
like a you know, like a, I don't know, pageant for your kids or whatever.
I love it.
And it was really special. It was really sweet, and we got to celebrate all night together, and you know, taking the pictures, and it was just so sweet. It was amazing.
I remember that speech. I remember you mentioned Natalie and the movie theater. I said, what a man. Like, what a moment for you and your whole family. And your suit was so nice. It was white and black. I remember.
Yes.
Always dressed so
nice. Sepulveda.
Yeah.
Shout out again, my amazing stylist.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a collective effort. All of these stuff that you're doing right now. It's this journey in this industry is so difficult, and I think you've seen a lot of rejection. And for a lot of the younger generation, like watching right now, like what type of rejection have you had that you can talk about? Like one that really sticks out.
Oh my God, I'm trying to think of one that sticks out, but I mean, it is 1000% part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like it's inevitable. I'm trying to think. What's funny is here's a ridiculously silly story. When I was in film school, I was up for this internship at Amblin, which is like a really cool production company that Steven Spielberg founded a long time ago. And I was so sure I was going to get it. And it was probably like unpaid. It was like nothing too important, obviously, but I really wanted it so badly. And I think I ended up not getting it, and could have been for any number of reasons. I was certainly not entitled to it, but that one always stung. And what's funny is like we are now doing a project with Amblin. I remember when I got on the Zoom with everyone, it was like, the leadership there. I'm like, you guys rejected me for internship, and kind of become like my joke with them. But
wow.
To me, like as silly of a story as that is, like it's a good lesson that like life is going to be hopefully God willing long. Your career will be hopefully long. There's so many rejections that you will face that that it's only a matter of time before somehow it comes around.
Yeah.
And like you realize that it was the right thing that needed to happen because that closed door opened up another, path for you. Or you just come back around and work with that person. Like there's a project that was really important to me. That was my favorite book series growing up. That I was offered a chance to write it and ended up like kind of like saying no to writing it. But I was like, oh, maybe I'll work on it in some capacity. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. 5 years later, now I'm making that project because that they could never figure it out without me. So things will kind of happen like that. And I think like it's important to find the optimistic way to look at your career and life in general. Like it could be so easy to get down and cynical and pessimistic. I've certainly done that. A lot of people do. But the more you can try and like look at things from a really wide point of view, right? Like if you're going to have another career for 40 years, will this be a blip? Will this be a massive issue? Or will it be something that you can build on and learn from? Not to get so preachy, but
no. I love that. And I'm sure you have so many ideas for future films. Like any dream project that pops out to you, anyone that you really want to work with, like a dream collaboration.
Man, I can't think of a dream collaboration, but like there's a few projects that I've been really waiting to make. One of which is like what I kind of consider our magnum opus for me and Natalie. And I mentioned Anish Chaganty earlier. It's a movie, like a very 4-quadrant, event-driven big movie. It's propulsive and unique and all those things I talked about. That is an ensemble cast, but one of the main actors and characters is an Armenian person. And like it's a big one for us because it's a way to show in this example an Armenian who's like aspirational and cool, and it's specifically written to be a woman because like in our communities like Armenian women are often the strongest and smartest people,
selfless.
Exactly. So it's like a way to kind of champion that. And I think kind of like what Ryan Coogler did with Black Panther, like where he really kind of showed his culture in such an aspirational light. I feel like that's an opportunity to do something like that for Armenians. And I think it's harder for us because there is like no foundation of Armenian cinema, like, at least in America. Like we kind of have to start from -5. Like how do we introduce characters and then do more? So that is a big one for us, and things take a long time, and I need so many other things to happen first before we can kind of go out with that one. We have a TV show that's going to feature a lot of Armenian Americans as well.
Wow.
And of course, there's the Arabic family that I mentioned earlier. So these are things that I think I'm really excited about. And if I retire, God willing, in a couple decades, if I've done anything, if I've done nothing, but at least somewhat put like Armenians a little bit more prominent in the American cinema, then I'll feel like I've done my job. Because I think especially when some of the really challenging things we've gone through the last 5 years, I really struggle with how can I be helpful and what can I do. And I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a political person, I'm not a doctor. What I can do is hopefully make art that can reach a global audience and use that as a way to, I was kind of joking about Kim Kardashian, like putting Armenians on the map, like do more of, kind of help in that way. So that's kind of become mine and Nat's like side mission for sure. Like story will always come first, but
I remember you mentioned something about an Artsakh character. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
This is years ago. You told me this. Oh my God! Did I just ruin it? No, okay, no. I remember it. Yeah. This is what it is. This is years ago. You told me. So it's cooking. It's like in the process.
Things take time.
Oh my God.
We'll see.
Oh, Sev. Well, before we wrap up, I always ask everyone the same 2 questions towards the end. But just one question for me that I'm very interested. What's the first movie that you remember watching growing up?
Probably like Aladdin.
Really?
If I can remember. Yeah, like we used to watch. Remember, my sister watched it so many times on VHS that it became black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens, but
wow,
it's probably
Aladdin.
that one, yeah.
Well, it stuck out to you, obviously.
Yeah,
like it did something to you that you turned into this incredible filmmaker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that, for sure.
Wow. Oh my God, what a great combo.
You ask all your guests that, even the non-filmmaking guests?
No. That was my personal question to you. My other 2 that I ask everyone is coming up, and I stole it from Tim Ferriss. You know Tim Ferriss?
No.
Tim Ferriss is one of my favorite podcast hosts.
Oh, cool.
He's great.
Good
and he always asks these 2 questions to everyone. It's interesting.
I'm excited.
Ready?
Yeah.
Well, before that, what else do you want to share with my audience? Anything, wisdom, projects, like life?
Man, I feel like I've been rambling the whole day. I can't
Oh,
think
we
of
had a
anything
good
else.
time.
just that I really appreciate you, honestly. And like it's such a comfort to see you at like out and about in events, and like I feel like you're such a stamp of authority, and I really appreciate you even doing this. I got so lit when I saw your set. It's such a cool set. It's so legit. Thank you to Anna for these amazing flowers. And for the first shot of tequila I've had in 10 years. So it's been really nice. Thank you for everything, seriously.
My first shot that I had with you at Horizon, which is
Exactly.
huge. But thank you to Anna. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming, Sev. And your words, you always compliment me. Okay, so if you had your very own billboard
What?
on Sunset Boulevard, what would it say? What type of... Take it in.
What is it advertising?
You tell me. What message would it say? Anything for people driving by to see.
That's so funny. Oh my God, that is such a funny question. Because it makes me think of the Subway Takes podcast where it's like, what's your take? You know, like,
yeah.
What would my billboard say? Okay, can I come back to this after the second question?
Absolutely. And it
Okay.
could be in Glendale, by the way. It doesn't
It
have
has
to
to be in Glendale, yes, of course.
Just think about it. So the next question is, what have you purchased under $100 that changed your life?
Ooh. I just feel like I feel so much anxiety. I'm going to give you like a lame answer.
No, it's okay. We can
Okay.
edit it.
Can I just give you a bunch of like lame answers?
Do it. I
Okay.
love you. Do it.
So one of my most ridiculous purchases that Natalie makes fun of me all the time for is I do a lot of reading on my iPad just because of my job. I'm reading scripts,
Right.
and so is Natalie. But the iPad is so not ergonomic. It's like a really skinny thing. It's kind of hard on your hands. It's hard, easy to drop. So I bought like a case that's really meant for children
Okay.
with their iPads. Where it's like thick and it's
Oh
like
my
soft.
God. Yeah.
So I like use that every day on my iPad. So I might look ridiculous on the beach trying to read something, but I love that. It makes it easier to like read.
Great
Is that
answer.
the lamest answer you've
That's
ever
a great
had?
answer. You know,
Yeah.
some people say, kitchen gadgets. I say
Yeah.
earplugs from Amazon. I mean, things that
Yeah.
are 10, $20, but make your life easier.
For sure. So I will give a shout out to the ergonomic toddler case for an iPad. I would say my AirPods, but I think that's over $100 now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That changed my life. Like being more optimistic, optimized, and efficient. Like doing calls or doing all sorts of stuff.
Boom.
Okay.
Like
the billboard.
Yeah, billboard. Think about it.
Like I would want to. I mean, I think if I really had a billboard and it was really gonna be in my city of Glendale, it would be some kind of shout out to like unsung heroes. You know, like I always feel like I think I really relate to the idea of erasure and people who do really good work and don't often get seen. And in my head right now, like my mind is going to Natalie and moms in general. Like our son just turned 3, and like it is not a joke how much mental load like parents. I mean, it's not only moms, obviously dads too, but especially the last year that I've had where I've been doing so much travel and award stuff. Like Nat's been such an incredible support and like really kicking butt. And I feel like I want her and all people who do that kind of stuff to be seen and to be given a shout out to. So it would be some kind of cheesy thing like that.
Sev, you are so delightful. That's the only word I can say.
I've learned this stuff. This does not come naturally to me. I'll put it that way.
What a great answer.
Thank you.
You are so pro women and just supporting women and appreciating, the Armenian woman and the Armenian mother that raised you and me and just all of that. Like Anna is such a great example. You've met her.
Yeah, of course.
Anna is the most hardest working woman I know, delivers these twice a week from me. And when she found out you're coming on set, she already knew what she was going to do. Anyway, so Sev, thank you so much for joining me today. Our unhinged interview. Oh, God. And I wish you more success.
Thank you, Louisa. John. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't wait to be in your movie.
yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. How was that?
I had a blast.
So good.
Was that good?
Louisa live.